everyone! So Crystal and I are here to do a very exciting video for you. We are going to be doing our TBR for the Read-A-Thon, which is a Canadian readathon happening from July 1st, which is Canada Day, till July 8th, so 8 full days. This readathon is being put on by Lala from Books and Lala and 5 other Canadian booktubers, and the whole idea is to read some Canadian books. There are a few challenges, so Crystal and I have made our TBRs, so let's get into it. Alright, so the first challenge is to read a book with red on the cover. The Canadian flag, obviously, is white and red. Red. So what do you got?
I have Ablutions by Patrick DeWitt. This is his first novel, and the only of his current 3 that I haven't read, and his new one comes out in September, so I thought I'd
It's kind of a cool cover.
give it a try. Yeah, all his covers are just perfect.
And they all kind of match, don't they? Like,
yeah.
They're all like red and black and white.
Yeah, they all have really cool graphics and stuff on them. So yeah, I really don't know what this is about, other than in a seedy Hollywood bar, a whiskey-loving barman is struggling to compile his notes for a novel. Drawn even further into the nocturnal world of the bar's clientele of drifters and losers, he comes to realize that escape offers the only chance of survival. So it looks really short. It looks like the chapters are really like in quick little spurts, so I think it'll be a lot of fun. And he's such an interesting author. So
yeah, I just read The Sisters Brothers, and he's weird.
He's weird.
He's good. He's a really good writer, but he's very weird.
The Sisters Brothers is my favorite.
Yeah.
But his new one in September sounds good, so start here.
Well, I went to a completely different track, and I picked 2 graphic novels. I get ambitious during readathons, but I have Super Mutant Magic Academy. This is by Gillian Tamaki. The other graphic novel also features Gillian Tamaki. But this is the kids of the Super Mutant Magic Academy want to be your friend. And it's just, I've heard this is really, really good. The art style is simple, it's all black and white, and I think I'll fly through this. And the title is red, so it counts. And then there's also Skim by Mariko Tamaki and Gillian Tamaki, and this one I've heard more mixed things about, but there's a little bit of red on the cover up here.
Works. It does the trick.
And I believe this is about a fat girl going to like an upper scale kind of private school. I'm really interested to get into the story. The art style is super interesting in here, and I know I'll fly through both of these graphic novels, so I picked 2 for this one. Alright, so the next challenge is to read a book by a Canadian woman. So what did you pick for this one?
Okay, well, I picked Still Life by Louise Penny. She's a Canadian detective fiction writer, and I'm using this as kind of a great stepping stone to expand my detective fiction reading. I tend to have like brand loyalty, so if there's one author, I read all of his books, and like I only read like 5 authors, but they all have the same detective going through all their stories. So I thought, if Peter Robinson, my favorite, says this is an excellent read, I thought I'd give it a try. And so this is the first in her series, and yeah, it takes place in Quebec, which is where I've never visited.
Really?
And I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've driven through, but that's a story for another question. Okay. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to like more detective fiction and kind of expanding that little world of mine.
I didn't realize she was Canadian.
Yeah, I didn't either, but yeah.
Doing our research for this, there was a few books where I was like, huh, did not know that they were Canadian. So, alright, so for this one, I went with The Last Namsara by Kristen Ciccarelli. I didn't realize that she was Canadian.
Yeah, me neither.
Apparently she's from Ontario. And this just sounds like a really cool fantasy story that's been getting some buzz lately, and it's just very like good versus evil. Like I believe Namsara is like a kind of a bringer of good, I think. I tend to go into my fantasy fairly blind, so I didn't want to read the whole synopsis because sometimes they give it away. But this one's been getting some buzz lately, and I'm excited it's by a Canadian author.
Yeah, that's it. I do see it everywhere, and I had no idea it was Canadian.
A forbidden love, a kingdom at war, a secret that will change everything. Ooh. Sounds great. Alright, so the next challenge is to read a book with an E and an A in the title, because Canadians say A.
Okay.
And did you pick one for this one?
I failed. I couldn't find one, but
hard.
We still have time.
Yeah.
I think if I can't, I might just try and read another Canadian book. And as a backup, I do have Giles Blunt's The Delicate Storm. I read his first book in this detective series in university, and I thought, again, to expand my detective reading, I thought I'd pick up the second book, which I thought was set in Quebec. but it's a fictional town, so it's just set in Canada.
Somewhere in Canada.
I think now that I have it from the library, I'm just going to read it anyway, so maybe I'll just sneak it into Canada Week, and yeah, it'll be good.
There's an E in it.
There's an E. It's a delicate storm, eh?
And I picked Slight by Jennifer Summersby. This is a recent release, and it kind of sounds like a carnival circus kind of magical world, and I'm into that. And Jennifer Summersby actually is from Lower Mainland, which is where we live. So I'm excited to get to this one because the synopsis sounded really appealing to me. Like, I love that kind of like games, circus, carnival atmosphere setting in books, and I haven't read too many of them, so it's like going to be a new one to add to the list. And there's an E and an H. Yes.
Are they together?
No, they're not together, but at least they're in there. So the next challenge was to read a book by an Indigenous author.
So for this one, I chose The Marrow Thieves by Sherry Dimeline. This book has just been so popular. I see people on the bus reading it, on the SkyTrain reading it. You've read it. This is Karina's copy, so she wants to read it. So yeah, I just really want to give it a try. I don't know that much about it, except that it's in a future of our world where people could no longer dream. So marrow is being taken from the Aboriginals in like factories so that other people can they can cure this dreamlessness.
It's quite intense.
Yeah?
It's quite intense. It's very good.
Yeah?
It's very good, but it's a heavy book.
Just seeing like so many different walks of people reading it in public, I'm just like, it must be like really hitting with everyone, so I definitely want to check it out.
It's really good. So for this one, I went with Fire Songs by Adam Garnett Jones. I've heard this is a really good and hard-hitting book. It is about two gay Indigenous teens, and it's a contemporary story. They're dealing with the tragedy of the suicide of his kid sister in here. Wow. So this sounds like it's going to be very heavy, but I've heard it's amazing, and I'm really excited to read it.
Sounds good. Looks pretty. Sounds sad.
Sounds sad. I'm pretty sure it's going to be sad, but it's LGBT and it's Indigenous, and I'm excited to read it. So the final question is to read a book set in a province or a territory you've never been to. This was hard for me because I've been to all of them except for Newfoundland and the territories, so I struggled. But what did you go with?
Well, like I said, I thought this was set in Quebec, which it is not, but this is. And I've been to Quebec City as like a drive-by. I've driven through Montreal, but I don't feel like I've experienced Quebec, especially small town Quebec. However, I also have a backup book in transit from one library to my library, which is called Bay Girl, and it's a YA kind of contemporary that takes place in Newfoundland, which I have definitely never been to. And it's kind of like her dealing with a lot of family problems and moving schools and stuff. I don't remember all the details, but I think I'm going to read it anyway. I'm going to try and read as much as I can this week, because we should read more Canada. Alright,
for this one I went with two books because they're children's books, so they're quite short, and that is Fatty Legs and A Stranger at Home by Margaret Pokiak Fenton. I believe these are set in the Northwest Territories, as well as maybe northern Manitoba? Could be wrong there, but and these are actually true stories about a girl's experience in a residential school, which is a fairly dark part of our Canadian history that we don't talk about enough. So I'm really interested to read this, and I believe the follow-up is kind of not fitting in your community once you've been forced to go away from it. So like these are probably going to be, but they're children's books, and it is an important story that we need to recognize more as non-Indigenous people. So I'm really interested to get to these, and I've never read books set in the North, so nice. Alright, so I do have one more book that I'm gonna just kind of like throwing in there. I know this seems ambitious, but you know me. Because I have the audiobook from the library, so I feel like it'd be good to get through a little bit during the week, and that is Anne of Green Gables by Ella Montgomery. Nice. I'm like 95% sure I have read this as a child.
It's such a good book.
But I don't remember the experience. I was like obsessed with the CBC miniseries like when I was a kid. And I've actually been to Green Gables and PEI.
Oh, that's so cool.
But I don't remember the experience of reading the book. So I want to give it another go. And I'm pretty excited about this one.
You'll love it. I grew up on like the miniseries too, but in like my last year of university, I took a children's lit class and we read Anne of Green Gables, and it was just so incredible to be like, wow.
Yeah. And like, I think I did read them as a kid, but I don't remember.
It's just
so I'm excited to
story.
And it's just like the epitome of Canada.
Yeah.
It's so Canadian. So I'm very excited to get this, and I just love Prince Edward Island. So.
Yay! So those are just some of the books we want to like really get to for the Read-A-Thon. I'm really excited about it, and we will be vlogging some of this as well, so be sure to check in our wrap up later on this month.
And we are actually sponsoring the Read-A-Thon, so somebody will be winning a 3-month subscription to OwlCrate. I believe all that information is going to be over on Books and Lala's channel, so check that out. We're super excited. I think a lot of people don't really realize that we're Canadian, so it's fun to be able to celebrate our Canadianness. And yeah, we're just gonna have a good week. We're gonna spend some time outside reading. We're gonna do some vlogging, and we're really excited to do it.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Canadian reading summer camp over here.
Yeah,
just show up and read books all day.
So let us know if you are going to be participating in the Read-A-Thon. Let us talk to us down in the comments. We'd love to talk to you. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Happy reading, and thanks for being awesome. Bye.
Bye.